Women only date marathon runners. What does that mean? I started to hear this word over and over from women years ago. And it wasn't a way I'd heard it before. I heard it from women. They want to feel safe. They want to feel secure. If you're a guy and you're wanting to decode women better and figure out how to meet that woman, how to get more dates, how to eventually create that relationship and a family, you've probably heard some of that, safety, security, things like that. And if you haven't, if you think about it now, it just makes sense. But why do I say women want marathon runners? Do they really? No. Especially if they're skinny and vegan, probably not. That's half of a joke. Women want guys they can feel safe with. And to win a marathon, I've only run one with no training. Got it done in 6.5 hours. It's kind of a bitch, but I got it done. It wasn't that hard, but it was hard enough. They need a guy who's consistent. Very different than discipline. You can be disciplined and do a cleanse or this ritual or whatever for a week, for a month. But when you're consistent for years, it's so attractive to women. You'll hear women say this if they're really honest, and they'll go, you know, with this guy, I know he's just got stuff handled, and I know he keeps following through. I can just turn off, I can let go, I can turn off my brain. Women want to surrender, which, how I say it at least, is not the same as submit, where a guy just has power over a woman who's not going to think for herself or have a thought, like some red pill nonsense. Women want a guy who's shown up and who has led consistently and consistently. Not that he's perfect, but he's consistent. And also, women aren't going to look at your track record. They're going to look at today, the last week maybe. The female experience forces them into the present moment through their hormone cycle. Women are forced to be present. Men, we're like the opposite. We kind of have to make ourselves present. Oftentimes it's not we're usually too future focused. When a guy's a sprinter, he can hook a woman. I don't know about you. Ask me how I know. I've been the sprinter. I can show up I could back then in relationships, show up for a while. And then, you know, if I look at 10 years ago, I didn't know it, but it's like I hadn't been consistent. I couldn't show up as that guy. And you might think, well, what do I need to do, or how do I need to be for this woman? The great thing, if you're single and you're watching this channel, is how do you need to show up for you? If you know that when you meditate, you feel way better, and some days you do, some days you don't, then to track every day you meditate. We'll track every day you do or don't, which will not just give you feedback, because obviously you're going to go, all right, I thought I was doing 98%. Apparently I'm doing 88%. Okay, that's solid. I used to do 50. But it'll allow you to know and to track it and to measure it so you can do better. And sometimes we're doing 98% and we lie to ourselves and go like, I got to be perfect. And we treat ourselves like we're doing 70. But when you know for you and the vision you have, if you don't have one, God, even my burps agree. Now would be a good time to create that vision. You can create part of it tonight. To have that vision where you're consistently executing. When you consistently show up for you, if it's meditation, going to the gym, you don't know what your purpose is. All right, are you following through on your job? Are you discovering what that purpose is? Or you have an idea what it is and you're going in that direction? And right now the purpose of your life is to more deeply understand what your purpose is. Or you have these golden handcuffs where you're making all this money and what you're doing is just not fulfilling. One of the biggest, most painful incongruencies in our internal value system is when we're doing something and we're good at it and it violates who we are and what we really value. That's when the drugs increase, the booze, the women, because something in us, it knows, call it alignment, call it integrity, it's out of alignment, it's out of integrity. A lot of times, especially if we've been anxious in the past, we're thinking of like, well, how can we show up for women? Which is a great question. But especially, like I said before, if you're single, how can you show up for you? How can you show up for you in a way that's showing up for you, for who you are as a husband and a father, even if you don't have a wife or kids? I remember this guy years ago I was friends with, and he said, and he was probably, I knew him probably 10 years, he was probably broke. And he was 40 to 50 during that time. He was probably broke at least 8 of those 10 years. And he said, man, if I knew and had a baby on the way, I would be able to make $1 million a year. And that year, I don't think he made 30,000. And he's 45 years old. It's not a judgment, it's just the story. And I remember thinking like, I could see that, being leveraged. And this is, I was 20 something. Well, I'm 40 now. And yeah, he probably would be able to, make it happen. And it's going, should you really have to wait? Can you decide to start living as a husband and a father now if that's what you really truly say you want? If you're making good money and maybe it has a little ounce of purpose, but that's not it. Do you have the courage to get ready to break off from that and do your own thing, or find something that's purposeful, or you have enough money in the bank where you can say, I'm quitting this fucking job. I need to go after what God, the universe, something, my higher self, whatever you want to call it, an internal knowing, something that was put inside of me. We can be so damn hard on ourselves. Like I said before, if we're mildly inconsistent, we can make it look like we're doing nothing. I was talking to someone earlier and they were talking about someone and they were like, I can be 90% right, and this person I'm with will take the 10% I did wrong and just focus on that. And that's someone talking about someone else who I was listening to, but we can do the same thing to ourselves. Or we can bullshit ourselves and we can be doing 70% and acting like we're almost doing 100. The only way you're going to know your true consistency, your true edge, your true effort, your true challenge is to measure certain things. It doesn't work any other way. We have feelings as men. Our first language is not feelings. There's feelings and there's function. As a man, does it function? We don't wear high heel shoes. High heel shoes, there's not one high heel shoe in existence that actually functions. It makes women feel different, but they don't function. You have blue ones, or you have black ones because they match your black shit. You have brown ones because they match your brown shit. And then you have gym shoes because they function. They serve a purpose. They have an outcome. They might feel nice, but chances are you're not buying them to the same level of feeling and fluidity that a woman would be. So what you're creating, what you're going to be consistent about, where are the results and how does it actually function? And some days it's not going to feel that good. I had my blood done this week. I felt beat the fuck up yesterday. I laid on a beamer mat for 8 minutes. I ran on a treadmill looking like Bane from Batman with an oxygen thing. What do they call it? An EWAT therapy. I'm breathing, I don't think it's pure oxygen, but a lot of oxygen. I'm running. And then I'm sitting in a red light therapy bed. And what did I do next? I'm getting in at this weird ozone sauna thing. Feeling good. I have 300 milliliters of my blood taken out, sitting in a bag, pumped with 1,000 milliliters of 80 gamma ozone. Once that started to go in, I did not feel good. But it was serving a function. It really didn't matter how I felt in the moment because I knew it was serving an ultimate function and a result that I know believes works. I'm doing this protocol. It's 6 of these crazy sessions. Each session's about $1,000. So I spent about 6 or 7 grand in the last 2 weeks. I know I will feel ultimately good from it. If I was gauging these last 2 weeks on how I felt and I was doing it for positive feelings, I would have quit several times. And it's kind of like going to the gym. It's like starting a business. It's like making content. I have a friend, he's been too concerned with feeling and perfection that it's taken him, 6 weeks to make one social media video. He's too concerned about feeling and perfection. He's not concerned about results and function, or at least let me rephrase that. He wasn't back then. Women want consistency, and life, or your true self, your higher self, your connection with something bigger, demands and wants consistency from you. Otherwise, we're just playing small. We're just being a bitch. And there's something beautiful and empowering when you can look at yourself and do it with love in your heart and go, I'm kind of being a bitch. Not to beat yourself up, not to judge yourself, but to be like, let's go, motherfucker. Let's ride. We got shit to do. Something in me knows that I wasn't put on this planet to fuck around and pay taxes and die. Consistency is key. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.